Are you setting the right example for your kids? Listen, if you've got children, you want to be very mindful about how you talk about yourself, how you talk about life, how you talk about other people. I remember I was with a friend 2-3 years ago. I was sitting in the car and he was driving his car along and I was in the front and this woman like was driving so slow and you can see it's a woman and he goes, women drivers, what's up with these women drivers? And I'm like, dude, you can't be saying that. Come on. I said, you got your kids in the back, right? So the daughter was sitting in the back. The son was sitting in the back, little kids are about 6 or 7 years old. And I'm thinking, what sort of beliefs are you telling these kids, right? Because they're going to look and see their dad driving around. And every time something happens, it's another woman driver. It's an old driver. It's an old git. They can't drive to save their lives. And that's not a real good thing to do around your kids because you're setting them beliefs that, you know, women are bad drivers, old people are bad drivers. And guess what happens? When they grow up, they're going to take on your like habits. They can have certain beliefs. So we've got to be really mindful on the type of examples that we set your kids. Now, have you ever said something to your children that you're going to do something, right? Let's just give you an example. Your daughter's messing around and you say, listen, if you don't stop, this is going to happen to you. That's going to happen to you. I'm going to take away your phone, your tablet's going, your laptop's going, and they don't stop. And you don't punish them, you don't discipline them. And then they say, well, you know what, dad chats shit. He ain't gonna do nothing. So listen, with my kids, if I tell my daughter that I'm gonna take her phone away, right? If she doesn't do X, Y, and Z, I'm gonna take the phone away. I've got to keep my promise, right? I've got to keep my promise to my kid. I've got to show my child that I actually mean what I say, right? Because otherwise they won't take it seriously. Think about all the times you said you're gonna do something, right? This might be, around the house, right? You said you're going to do something, you're going to get fit, you're going to lose weight, we're going to start eating healthier as a family, right? And what happens is 8 p.m. at night and you're feeling hungry, you've been eating okay, and you go order a pizza, you go get some KFC, you go get a McDonald's or a Subway, whatever, and then you do this over and over again. It forms bad habits. What it's doing is telling your child that, you know what? Daddy is a freaking liar. Mummy is a liar. She does never do what she says she's going to do. So we've got to be mindful. Sometimes you make promises to your children, right? You know, we're gonna do this at the weekend. We're gonna go away at the weekend for a weekend. We're gonna go to the seaside. We're gonna go to the shopping mall. I'm gonna buy you this. I'm gonna buy you that. Or we're gonna go to a restaurant. We're gonna go to the park. And then what happens? The weekend comes. You get so caught up with work. Listen, work can get in the way. I get that, right? We feel like we're doing it for the kids. We've got to make these sacrifices, right? But listen, if you told your children you're gonna do something, whether it's going to the park at the weekend, keep that commitment. Keep your commitment to your commitment. Now, it's not only important for your children, but it's also important for yourself to keep committed to your decisions that you make. A lot of people do not know how to make decisions and stick to them. Highly successful people are different. Multimillionaires are different because they decide to do something. You'll see, observe their behavior. They'll be very disciplined and very like action orientated, and they will do it. This is a huge difference between people that don't make it and people that do make it, right? They hold themselves accountable. As a parent, I want to make sure that I set good examples for my kids. I never ever talk about why something can't be done. That's another thing, right? Never talk about why something can't be done, why it's going to be too hard for them. My kids, they want to set up a t-shirt printing business, right? And I'm encouraging that. I said, you know what? I love that. Let's do that. Let's work out the brand. My daughter says, I want to make 10,000. I'm like, that's cool, right? She's only like 12 and she wants to make 10,000 a month. And because she's around me and she's seeing what I'm doing, and she's not only seeing what I'm doing, she's also seeing like my client success stories. I share them with her. When somebody makes 20 grand in a day, when someone makes 100 grand in a week, I share the little interview that I'm done with a client. And I say to my daughter or my son, hey, listen, kids, this daddy's helped this person do this. Why? Because they followed a process. So now my kids are going to school and they're getting asked questions like, what do you want to do when you're older? And they're really ambitious. They're coming up with some different answers. And the teachers are kind of blown away. Like, you're thinking this way. Why? Because I've shown them how I operate. So I set them high standards, right? I never tell them, even at 10 years old, 12 years old, I don't tell them they can't earn like 10,000 a month, that is, right? So I'm saying to them, let's set a business up. Let's just fucking do this. We don't need to wait around. Let's get a machine, go find a machine, we'll go find a course, all right? Go find a blueprint to what you want to do. So I'm setting them an example. I'm showing them, listen, you want to do a certain thing. You're not sure how to do it. You find someone who knows how to do what they're doing. So my son, I'll give you an example. He's like 14, he's into his YouTubing. He's saying, Daddy, can I have some money? Can I use my pocket money for a video editor? So my kid is on like freaking Fiverr speaking to adults, right? Now you'll probably say you shouldn't be speaking on adults online. Listen, he's cool, right? So he's out there, he's selling his stuff. He's selling stuff that he's got so he can actually pay for his YouTube edits, right? So He said, I need about 40 quid a week. I said, right, son, go find something that you can sell for 40 quid a week. So I'm giving him an example. I'm showing him like how you actually make money. So now he's getting self-sufficient at 14 years old. I'm showing him, I'm setting him good examples. You lead by example. Think about some of the things that your parents used to do when they're growing up. Some of the things they said they were going to do and they didn't do them. Can you think of a few things? Maybe you're going to go on that dream holiday. Oh, darling, we can't afford it. Maybe you just had a new kitchen put in. Work's a bit slow. We can't do it. You tell your kids you're going to do something and work's a bit slow. You might not have the money coming in. Okay, that's cool. You know the situation where it's at. So what can you do now? You need an extra couple of grand. You need an extra £5,000 or dollars, whatever currency that you're operating in. Okay, so this is my shortfall. Okay, kids, here's what's going on. We want to go on this holiday. There's a bit of a shortfall, right? I'm not saying that we don't have the money, but what we need to do, I never tell my kids, by the way, and you should never tell your children that you don't have enough money to do X, Y, and Z. If you genuinely don't have the money and say, okay, Sid, listen, this is what it is, right? So we want this, it's going to cost us $10,000. A swimming pool in the garden is going to cost £20,000 or whatever. We've got to get 20K in to pay for that project. So let's sit down as a family around the table and put together a plan on how we can actually earn $20,000. What can we sell? What can we do as a family? What services can we provide to actually bring in income? Then you divide that down. So, right, we're going to set ourselves a goal of a year. Okay, now what we're going to do, we're going to take that 20 grand down and we're going to divide that into 12. So now what we need to do is focus on X amount every single month, right? Let's just say it's like 12 grand you need. So, all right, kids, or your partner, your wife, we're going to need an extra $1,000 a month we've got to make minimum in order for us to achieve this outcome that we want, that holiday that we want. So you sit down and you set yourself a goal and you lead by example. Set them examples. So, right, so they get into life later on. And when they're short of money, right, they want to buy a car, they want to buy a home, they want to go traveling. They know like this is a formula that I need to use so I can get money. It's just a formula. And not a lot of parents do this. And I'm encouraging people, I want to encourage you to start looking around things that you want to start doing as a family. Never freaking complain that you ain't got any fucking money, because money is not that you ain't got no money, is that you ain't using your freaking brains to actually get the extra money, because money is always there, right? We just got to start using our mind differently. We got to start solving problems. A lack of money is a problem, right? Now there's a solution to a lack of money, which is rendering more service, providing more value to other people's lives. You know, how can you do that? So I would encourage you all to like do something with your kids where you set them monetary goals and you lead by example. Say, all right, listen, I'm going to make an extra $2,000 this month. How about you take this as a challenge and sit down with your children, talk to them, say, all right, this is what I want to do. Give me some ideas. Sit around like a little mastermind around your dinner table, get your notepads out, pens out, and you say, right, kids, we want to make an extra $2,000. I'm going to set you a challenge, in fact. If you're ready to do this challenge, let me know. Let me know on my Insta, right? Make sure you follow me over at Instagram. So let me know, put challenge accepted. Send me a DM, challenge accepted, so I know that you're serious about what I'm teaching you, right? So $2 grand goal, right? We're going to make an extra $2 grand. Listen, some of you might say, what, $2 grand is nothing to me. I'm making 50 grand a month. So if that's you, if you're making 50 grand a month, set a goal to make an additional 5K a month and get your family, get your kids involved and start masterminding, brainstorming, and take their ideas. Don't reject their ideas. If they give you an idea, don't say, well, that's not going to work. That's a silly idea. Because when you tell them that's a silly idea, they're going to shy away. Just like what I did when I got told off when I was a kid because I got a maths question wrong. I got shouted at. My dad was like, I'm like fucking sitting there 6 years old, crying my eyes out, right? And I still remember that day to this day because it had such a negative impact on me. So my dad ain't watching this. That's all cool, right? But then I was like, wow, I'm not going to even bother answering another question because I felt so afraid when it comes to that point of doing your homework, right? So I know I've got to sit down and do my homework with my dad. And if I get something wrong, I'm going to get told. Back in the 80s when we were growing up, it was different to now, right? You get shouted out. We used to get some licks back then, right? But now it's totally different. So think about getting them to extracting ideas from them, right? Daddy, I've got an idea. We can do this. Okay, so let's figure out a plan. Not how you're going to do that. Well, that won't work. Let them use their creative juices. Let them use their imagination. Because otherwise what we do is we suppress them. So when you say you're going to do something, do it. Set an example. Remember, your kids are looking up to you all the time. They're following you. Our conditioning comes from our parents, all right? A lot of our conditioning comes from our parents because we're constantly observing what they say. Think about some of the things that you were told about money. Think about some of the things that you were told about creating success and wealth and all sorts of things like going to the moon. Think about how much of what your parents told you has actually impacted you in a negative way. So we want to be careful that we don't make the same mistake. And I look at my parents and some of the stuff they taught me, some of the ideas they taught me, they're absurd. I'm like, wow, they knew nothing different. That was where their awareness at. Now I'm actually educating my parents about things in general. I talk about when I gave my kids a money shower because I wanted to get them used to money, right? Throw money up in the air when they're like 2 or 3 years old. And my parents are looking at me, what are you doing? Now I believe, because I was doing that at that age, I was setting a great example. Like we're surrounded by wealth. There's more money than we can ever need. Look, we're loaded. I created a different mindset for them. So now I believe what I did in the earlier days of their childhood, I really feel like it's had a positive impact to what they're doing now, how they're actually seeing money, their perception of money. They don't believe there's a lack. Now they're self-sufficient. They're actually earning their own money. And guess what it's good for? It's good for me now because I don't have to give them any pocket money. You're thinking, God doesn't give his kids any pocket money? Of course I do. But at the same time, I give them pocket money and then I say, listen, here's your pocket money. If you want something else, they want a record player, LP player, right? So they earned it. They paid for it themselves because I've taught them the values of money. I want everybody to be teaching their kids about money. Money's a topic that not a lot of people talk about. So always remember, your kids are always watching you, even when you say things, right? They're always observing you, listening to you, watching you, and seeing how you act and behave. So I want you to think about it. Next time you're around your children, be very mindful of how you're interacting with them, what you're saying about other people, what you're saying about all different areas, right? Like DIY, right? If you're no good at DIY, like me, I tell my kids I'm not good at DIY. Why? Because I choose to. It's not because I can't. And I always tell them I'm crap at DIY. I can't hang up a shelf. If you ask me to hang a bracket up on the TV, right, and mount the TV on the bracket, I cannot promise you I cannot do that. I don't even know how to drill a hole into the wall with a plug and hang a shelf. It's not that I'm stupid. It's not that I'm not capable. It's just that I don't have the awareness of actually how to do it. Because what happened is when I was younger, I tried to drill a hole in the wall and I drilled about 6 different holes and it just messed up the wall. And then I had this belief that, I'm not good at DIY. Not only that, I tried a few different things around the house and it just came out a flop. I'm not good at DIY because I've never been taught how to drill a hole in the wall. Now, I'm sure if I had the urge, I could get someone and say, look, can you teach me how to hang a TV bracket up, right? It's all about educating yourself. That's an education, right? There's a blueprint to hanging a TV bracket up. Now, you're probably looking at me thinking, dude, you're running this successful business, helping all sorts of people and all sorts of money, and yet you can't even hang up a shelf, and I can, and I ain't got as much money as you, and I'm not successful. I'm barely making ends meet. So listen, if I wanted to do that, I know I could learn, but I've got no reason to really learn. It doesn't really interest me. Anything is possible if you're willing to put in the work and learn, put in the hours to learn how to do something, right? Now, if you learn the rules about earning money in abundance, you'd have more money in your account than you can ever imagine, right? So think about this. The things that you can't do is down to the fact that you haven't learned how to do it. Okay, so teach your kids stuff, right? Teach your kids about money, success, discipline's a really important one. Lead by example. You tell your kids that you're going to go for a run, you're going to start waking up going gym. How many times have you been around your children, in fact, when you said, you know what, I'm slightly overweight, I'm going to lose some weight, I've got to get back into the gym. You sign up to the gym, they watch you not going, they're watching you not eating healthy, they're watching you eating crap. What sort of an example are you setting them? You're setting them an example, like, you can say that you're going to do something, it doesn't mean that you're going to do it. It's all cool if you let yourself off the hook. So next time you tell yourself or your kids that you're going to do something, go fricking do it. Even if it's disciplining them, eating healthy, earning money, buying a new car, moving, whatever it is, go do it. Set a good example for your kids, right? Lead by example.